DS, you ready?
Let's do this.
All right, folks. Welcome and thank you for being here. My name is Jonathan Prosperi. I'm the product manager. With me is David Silverberg, who's our product owner. We are the product team here at Practice Panther, and we are super excited to share a topic that is near and dear to both of our hearts with you today.
Yeah, thank you. We're really excited about today's update and talks about it, specifically because it's about one of our favorite subjects, really, helping out our clients. This update's all about helping Practice Panther's users with problems big and small across the entire platform. Some of these changes will be obvious improvement for everyone, while others are small tweaks that we know some people really care about. At Practice Panther, we take pride in listening to our customers and making sure our platform is helping you to achieve your goals. Now, before we get started, I do want to point out that there's a Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. Please do feel free to leave questions there anytime. We'll save time at the end to answer your questions, and we'll certainly follow up with you if we can't get to it.
Perfect. For those of you who might not be familiar with Practice Panther, this is your all-in-one intuitive legal solution that's going to help lawyers and other professionals like yourselves manage your complex and fast-moving cases seamlessly. In Practice Panther, you can manage your cases, you can create custom workflows, you can send out invoices, and you can get paid securely and quickly with our e-payments system, Panther Payments. And we're always making updates to Practice Panther, some of which we're, like we said, going to show with you today. So without any further ado, I think that it's time that we jump in and show you guys what we're going to be looking at today.
Thanks for that overview, John. That's right. We're really excited to walk through these new fixes and enhancements. They were all requested by all of you at Practice Panther. There's a ton to cover today, so let's run through the agenda really quick. We have a lot of user requests that are going to be coming up in some releases in the very near future. A lot of the topics revolve around things enhancing our speed and functionality across the entire site, increased customizations and things you can do with your contacts and matters. We're greatly increasing clarity on all of your activities and productivity. And we're adding more flexibility when it comes to your invoices and what you're going to be capable of doing with them, which we're very excited to talk about. There's also, toward the end of our presentation today, we're going to go over some of the other user requests that are still in development or about to start development. So you're going to basically get a sneak peek here at some things that are about to come out and some things that are going to be coming out later this year.
Yeah, perfect. So we wanted to start with some of the broadest changes. And again, all of these are things requested by users. DS and I spend time every week, mostly every day, on the phone with some of you in this room. So hi, if we've spoken recently, it's great to have you guys here. One of the biggest things that we always hear from everyone is that things should be faster. We get that you guys have a lot of things that are going on. There's a lot of tabs and you want it to be instant. And we've been working very hard at doing that. From improving our database to reducing the load times to making it so that your invoices export more cleanly and more regularly. We've made tons of enhancements that are just going to make Practice Panther work. And we are super proud of all the changes that you should see some of those today, but in the coming weeks, you're going to see even more of that week over week as we continue to make these updates. Another small change that we made is to turn the new button into a white button. And the goal here is to help clarify the experience. You might notice that there's what's going to be the white button in the top left. And then if you go to your matter, your contact, there's going to be a green new button on the right. And the differentiating between the two of those, we think is going to be super helpful with letting people get figured out in the user interface. Another enhancement that we're super excited about that's going to help a lot of our newer firms get themselves stood up is a default intake form. And the goal here is to provide you an out-of-the-box solution where you can just sign into Practice Panther, have an intake form, send it out to your clients, and then get that data put back into Practice Panther. The other super helpful thing about this is that it's a template. You can use this, you can modify it, you can customize it for yourself. And so we wanted to give you something that you can just run with as you're getting used to Practice Panther.
Yeah, I'm really personally excited about all these updates, but this one in particular. As some of you may or may not know, I've been with Practice Panther for a number of years, and I've spoken to a lot of firms that are getting started and some firms that have been with us for a couple of years themselves, and shocked every time that I find out, even those that have been with us for a while, never took the few minutes to dive into making their first intake form. So a lot of this is just to get ahead of some of that onboarding woes that people feel and getting everything set up for their firm. This is going to show you what's possible right out the gate from now on. So I'm really excited to push this out.
And at risk of DS biting my head off, I will say we have a lot of other plans with default forms and other what we're calling out of the box solutions, right? Things that'll just be there for you when you come into Practice Panther. So intake form coming to you soon. Others, keep an eye out.
Absolutely.
Let's go to the next screen. Perfect.
Now let's talk about context and matters. You know, I'm sure you've been busy searching through all sorts of matters and contacts and trying to really find, you know, what you're looking for, and it can sometimes be overwhelming. So we're here to help as much as possible. One of the smaller enhancements, but we think is just a very big quality of life buff across the board, is basically being able to really see the phone numbers in the way that we are used to seeing them. A lot of people, when they're inputting phone numbers into their system, will just write them out as a straight string of, you know, 9 or 10 numbers. And we're going to be taking that from now on, digesting it and showing it to you in the proper phone number format that many of you are probably used to. So just using a little bit more logic on what we display to make it a little more easy for you guys. Additionally, we are updating our custom matter rates and how they appear inside of your matter grid. So today, if you're setting up a template for a matter rate, which you can do in your settings, you can say, I'm making a personal injury case matter rate or a bankruptcy matter rate. And whenever a case has that matter rate, it's going to be at this specific hourly rate. And that's all stuff that you can do today. But also today, if you went to your matters grid and you looked at your matter rate column, whenever one of those would be displayed, it would only say custom matter rate. So to improve the visibility and being able to really see at a glance what specific rate every matter is at, we're going to be showing the names of which rate is picked in this column instead from now on. Yeah. And lastly, on this slide, at least, we have the archiving and unarchiving of contacts and matters. Really, really big feature push that we're excited to allow users to kind of remove the contacts or matters that they are done working with for right now away from their immediate view. You won't see them in your main contacts list when you're sorting by your open or any contacts, and they will not appear inside of your drop-down menus when you're making future items for contacts and matters that you've archived in the past. Really excited for that to be rolled out.
Yeah, it should be a great one. The next area is our activities. And there's a lot going on here that we think is going to help with people who are tracking all of their daily tasks and want to be moving forward, tracking their activities in Practice Panther. The first is helping you to track your productivity. And we're doing that by adding a new completed date. You can see there on the screen. So this is going to help you know, not when was this task due, but when did you actually complete the task? And the idea here is that you can help see, was I overdue? And this happens automatically. When you check completed on it, it's going to just fill out that date. And so you can review your own productivity. Or if you're a firm manager, you can see how have different people been performing on their different tasks. And we think that that's going to help a lot of businesses scale, manage their data better. And I just want to say here, we know that there's a lot that can be done on this. And again, at risk of DS biting my head off, we have a lot of future plans to help firm managers scale their businesses up coming later this year into next year.
I'd love to just take a quick second and chat about this because I love this feature. As small as it may seem, to be releasing like one more stat about your tasks, it's really going to open up what you're able to learn about your firm and their productivity, not only generally, but against each other as well. You'll be able to export this data into Excel and run stats, you know, from user to user. And then to John's point, one enhancement that we are thinking about doing later this year is providing that stat kind of on a silver platter for you. So while we have a completed date column here now, or when this comes out, we want to have another column at some point that just spells out the number of days it took to complete that task. So that way you'll be able to just report on that as well. And I do want to just take a moment. We have been getting some questions around the recording of this webinar. So it is recorded, and the recording will automatically be emailed to everyone that's here registered right now, so you don't have to worry. Awesome.
Yes, you want to keep going here?
Yeah, I got this. So next up, we have increased security on activity attachments. So not sure if you guys are aware, maybe you are, maybe you're not, but when you're making a task or an event, you can actually attach a file to it. You know, let's say the task was to generate a retainer agreement, and maybe you started on it and you want to upload the file so you can access it later and continue working. Today, we are accepting almost all file types. And so to increase security, we're going to be restricting the ability to upload things like .exes and programs, because those aren't really necessary to be uploaded as attachments on activities and things. You'll still be able to upload all other types of documents, files, videos, what have you, just not programs. And that's really just a security checkpoint for everyone across the board. And lastly, for this one, we have improved accessibility when you're creating notes. So this was more of a gap that some users had reported to us. We weren't even aware, to be honest, until it was reported a few months ago. And this is just when you're on the activities tab inside of a contact and matter, we actually, while there are notes, and notes have a section, and notes are a type of activity, while you're in the activity tab, you were able to create note everything except for a note for some reason. So we added the new note button inside of activities tab of contacts and matters for ease of use for you guys as well.
If I can just riff off that real quick, and I've seen a couple of comments here as well. A lot of the changes that we've made, I mean, some of these I know are going to make a huge impact, but some of these changes, like making the new button a little bit different, adding this here, these are the sorts of changes that we know individual people really care about. And one of the values that we're really trying to bring forward with Practice Panther is that we're here working with you guys. DS and I are the product team. We're the ones who are, choosing which enhancements and figuring out what we should be working on. And we want to make sure that you're a part of that process. So I might be jumping the gun a little bit. We're going to have my email at the end here, but we want to be in touch with you guys to make sure that we're always building these great enhancements that are going to improve your experience. Let's go to the next slide. I think that really accentuates what I'm talking about here. The next slide is about invoices. How important are these to your business, right? I think that everyone in this room, let's say the overwhelming majority of you I know care deeply about this feature, and we do too. Over the last few months, invoices have been the #1 priority in terms of enhancing Practice Panther. And let's just go through a couple of these changes. And I just want to say there's a lot more coming your way with invoices, but for now, in the next couple of weeks, you can expect to see these. When you are formatting a multi-matter or a client-based invoice, you're now going to have the option if you want to have them come in the order of matter name, or if you want to have them come out chronologically in matter number, the order in which you created the matter. And that's going to help you stay organized and easily track those larger sets of invoices, right? Another one is a huge request that's come from our clients who are billing internationally, which is a new leads format, 98B1. And while some people might not know or care exactly what that is, this is going to be a huge unblocker for the firms that do want to be working in places like Canada, Europe, or other parts of the world, that it's going to help them to bill in a way that will be instantly digestible by other systems that are out there in the world. Another little quality of life change that we set is that now your line items, when you drag and drop them across your invoice, they're going to stay there. If you put them into date order or alphabetical order, they're just going to be locked in that order. The last change here is one that we're super excited about as well, and that's the unapplied amount column that you can see being pointed to by that arrow. This is going to help you streamline your track your finances in a really streamlined way to help you manage your operating retainer credit. And we think that that's going to make a huge impact for people. Let's keep going.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. All right, so let me just pause here. And I just want to say again, all the changes that we just went through, you should expect to see in Practice Panther over the next few weeks. So keep your eyes peeled for those, because we're really excited to get your feedback, hear what you have to say, and keep working on them. But because you guys have been great, and we're really excited about some of the other things that are going to be happening a little bit later this year, we wanted to give you a preview of some stuff so that you can get excited. And again, if you have feedback, we want to hear it. So let's start the conversation. Perfect. Like I said before, even more work for invoices. And I think that you can see here that we have some really foundational changes that we're planning that we think are going to help people's lives. The first is automatically generating invoices. So, when it's the 31st or the first of the month and you have 500 invoices and you need to send them all out, no more. You can now say, I want them by the first of the month. You can say, I only wanted to include time entries and expenses. There's going to be a lot of customizations where you can set it and forget it, and your invoices will automatically just be there when you need them to be.
Yeah, I'd love to. I'd love to chat about this one as well. This is just such a pivotal change that we're going to be providing this for all of our law firms. They're essentially going to be able to go into a contact or a matter and set up a schedule for that contact or a matter. So every third week, every fourth week, every Monday, every 31st, every first, whatever the time frame is that you're looking to have these made. That way, when it comes time to do your billing at the end of the month, you're not first coming into the office, getting onto Panther and going through a batch invoice process for the 4 different case types that you might support, needing 4 different batches of invoices. Now you'll be able to set all your contacts and matters on their own personalized scheduler. They're not going to send automatically, but they are going to get generated automatically. So when you come into the office to do that review of invoices before you're sending them out, that's really all you're doing, is reviewing the invoices that are going to be appearing in front of you the morning after they were set to generate. So just a lot of time and headache saved, I think, in being able to automate this stuff. And side benefit, because we're setting stuff up to run on a schedule and on jobs, this is a little technical, but that is going to provide an additional performance boost to the system across the board, freeing up a lot of the bandwidth that we end up using at the end of every month when everyone is trying to invoice at the same time. So just a lot of benefits from this one feature alone. I'm really excited to roll this out later this year.
It's going to be huge. Another one that's going to be huge is the one that you see on your screen here. I'm sure that you guys get what this is right away. You're going to be able to associate whatever contacts you want in Practice Panther to be the default invoice recipient. So if you're billing, for example, a company, right now we bill to the primary contact for that company. But if you want it to go to the CFO or be CC'd to that person's spouse, all of those options are going to be on the table now. And you can set that up at a matter level or at a contact level where you can determine which types of invoices do you want to be received. Which clients do you want to be receiving the invoice? The next change. Oh, sorry, please.
Sorry. The biggest benefit there for default invoice recipients for me is, while yes, you can definitely set them up and forget it like a crock pot, each contact and matter, you just set them up once and you never have to worry about this, who's getting CC'd on it again. But and you're going to notice this with especially these 3 features when they start working together. You're going to be able to have the invoice generate themselves, come in, review them, and then check all your invoices off and hit send, and not even think about it a moment more, because all those invoices that were automatically generated are now getting sent automatically to the right person or persons you've assigned on that contact or matter.
Yeah. The last feature that we have a bullet for here is the invoice PDF attachments. Right now, I will advocate, we have a great system that helps people make their payments. You can do it right there, and it all links back into Practice Panther. But what we've discovered is that some people really want to have that hard record. They want to save it to their desktop. They want to upload it to the court system. There are a lot of uses for having these hard files. And so we're going to add a new option that will allow you to generate a PDF when you send it out, and it will be attached to the invoice. So I think that, yes, to the email. Yeah, thank you. Sorry. That said, these are 3 great features, and it's really just the beginning. I will sneak ahead. I saw one question in here. Will there be the option to have multiple invoice templates and email templates for them? The answer is yes. Next slide, please. All right, the next area that we're really focusing on enhancing is reporting. We know that this is a huge space that's going to make a big difference for our users, our medium, our larger firms, the firms that are focusing on growth. This is a space where we can be doing a lot, and we have a lot planned. The first is our Save Reports feature. And really, let me just shout about how big of a difference this feature is going to make for people. No longer recreating the columns, resetting up the filters. Now you're going to have this option right here. You see it on your screen. You hit save. You give it a name, and then that report will be there for you whenever you need to access it. And this is going to save people time with going between different views that you might want, or with helping set up new people on your team. This feature is going to be time saving. It's going to be, yes, just,
I mean, you
help
said,
me
no,
count the ways.
yeah, you said it all. Like this is probably the single feature that I might be the most excited for this year personally. Just from all the, again, talks I've had over the years. And one of the things that people love about Panther is how customizable these reports are. One of the nuggets of truth that they accept with that is they have to customize that report, on a weekly or monthly basis each time. And so while the reports are very flexible, we want to make them flexible and fast. So you'll be able to access them, and you'll only have to be able to build them once, basically. And then you'll be able to save that and access it anytime you need.
Yeah. We've got a couple others in here that we think are really going to make a difference. Being able to see the different tax rates, right, on your invoices grid. This sort of stuff people have been asking for. Here you go, right? The billable breakdown on your invoice grid. So you can see how much is time entries, how much are expenses. We know that people want these features, and we're bringing them to you. The last one I think is a super useful one, and I know has been widely requested, and so you're getting it. And I also just want to say there are a lot of other reports that we have lined up here. This we just think is really the exemplar. Time entries by user by month. All of our growing firms want to know who is billing how many time entries. How does it compare to last month? How does it compare to last year? This is really important data that people need, and we're going to be serving it up to you on a silver platter. So lots of reports, lots of changes, lots of control being put into your hands to help you manage your firm's growth here. And again, so excited to get these to you as soon as we can later this year. So there we are. That's a big preview of some things to come, and we have a lot of questions that people have been asking. So if you have any questions, if you want something clarified, if you want to know about a feature, let us know. And yes, maybe we can start cracking into some of these together.
Yeah. And just to double tap on this, again, this whole thing is recorded. You're going to be getting an email with the recording in it after the webinar is over. And if we don't answer all of your questions here, we'll be responding to you after the webinar as well. If you do have general questions, maybe after the webinar ends, and you just remember a question you want to ask us, you can always email John's emails right here, jonathan@practicepanther.com. For any of our attendees that are here today that are not active Practice Panther users or just interested in checking it out, please do email matt@practicepanther.com right away, and we'll get you set up on a demo. Now, all that being said, let's take a look at some of the questions that have come in. Let me see here. First question that I'm seeing that is very relevant to everything here. Can we have more than one type of intake questionnaire? An example, clients with different practice areas or needs. That's a great question. So right now, the feature that we were talking about earlier with intake forms is we're going to be providing a form just out of the box. The feature exists today, though, that you can go in and set up any kind of form for different practice areas or stages of the case, and have at different points in your case, you'll have to send out maybe an additional form. Maybe you needed more information. Now you're at this new stage of the case. So you can either have intake forms that are set to come in, and when they get filled out, maybe they're living on your website, and when they get filled out, they'll automatically make a contact for you, a new lead in your system, and fill out the information with whatever was provided from the intake form. The other thing you can do with intake forms, like I mentioned before, is updating things on, as the case is going. So you'll be able to have a personal injury, once the trial happened, intake form that you can send out in the middle of your case. It'll come back and update that contact or matter with the information they provide. So a lot of different use cases you can do with it. And there's no limit really to how many intake form templates you can make. Awesome.
Yes, how about this one? When a matter is archived, is it still searchable?
Great question. So yes, you can still search for it, and it will appear. There's like two searches. One is when you're in the search bar and you're typing, you're going to get a list of recommendations. It's still going to appear in that list of recommendations, but like a closed matter, it's going to have a parentheses that says archived. You'll still be able to click on it, open it, and do whatever you might need to do with that contact or matter, but it will be available in the search. And then when you hit enter and do a full global search, it will also appear within that as well. So once again, when you archive a contact or matter, we're not getting rid of it. We're just giving it a special flag so it's out of your view while you're working on your active cases. Awesome.
Beautiful.
Um,
Let me see here. This is a clarification question. Will the automatically generated invoices be available for everyone or just for Panther payment users? And the answer is that that's going to be a global feature.
yeah, we're not going to be restricting that by any means with Panther payments, lockdown, or anything. We want to make sure that you're getting as many of your invoices made, because ultimately when you're successful, we're going to be successful. So we want to make sure that as many of the features that will help you make money faster are going to be in everyone's hands.
Yeah. Here's another one,
Awesome.
Diaz. You want to do this one? Can firm attorneys be added as invoice recipients?
Yes, but.
Yes.
So yes, but you would need to make them as a contact in your system, so they're on the pick list for you to pick. But yes, you could do that. That's a very good use case for it.
Yeah, perfect. We have another clarifying question here that I'll pick up. Yeah,
That's
the
what
idea.
that's.
Go ahead, yes.
Okay, so the question here says, I want to clarify, did you say we will soon have the ability to have multiple templates for payment requests and e-signature requests? So this sounds to me more like the emails that go out with them. We didn't have it in our slide deck, but there is an effort for this year that we're going to be putting forward on giving you guys more multiple email templates for sending invoices, sending payment requests, and sending e-signature requests. So that's definitely in our on our radar for sure.
Yeah. We are planning to make some updates generally to the e-signature feature. It's something that we have on our radar that we care about doing. We just need to make sure that we are doing it. And, just a quick second on the product perspective, we're always trying to focus on the highest impact, the most important features. And we know how important e-signature is for people. It's just a matter of making sure that we're updating the system to increase the speed. You guys see all the things that we're working on here. So the answer is yes, we're super aware of all the things that we can be doing for e-signature, and you can plan on seeing that sometime soon.
Okay, we have a couple more. I see one here that says, for the invoice PDF attachment, that is that actually the invoice itself, or can I attach any PDF to that invoice email? So we're basically going to be having a feature that says when you are hitting send on an invoice, there will be a little box under the email preview that says include PDF attachment of this invoice. So the thing that we're attaching is the invoice itself. So there isn't going to be within this email flow a way for you to add other PDF attachments. It's just going to be focused on the invoice, which I think is, I think it would be nice to be able to add random other supplemental attachments for your client's knowledge. But when we're sending invoices, from what we've learned, less friction is typically better for getting paid faster. So by having an email that explicitly focuses on the invoice, it's probably going to lead toward faster closing times on those invoices as well. But great question.
I see another clarifying one about the automatically generating invoices. DS, the question is, can we set it to run on the first Sunday of each month? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You'll be able to set it up for whatever time frame you really pick, which is really, and per client matter can change. Maybe one client tells you they're only going to be able to get paid or pay you when they get paid on the 15th. So you can set up a schedule that says always invoice this person on the 16th. Things like that.
Great. Here's one. For the unapplied payments, do these only apply to operating, or does this show up for trust accounts too?
That's a great question. So the unapplied amount is the operating retainers specifically, because we already have another column that specifically calls out what's in your trust for every contact and matter. So this is more like filling the hole that we had that wasn't giving enough visibility on one type of account, as there are a number of states that do not require trust in the equation, and this is going to better serve those firms.
Right.
There was also one that I read here that said, will we ever be able to void an invoice? Just a general feature suggestion. So we don't have the word void today, but we do have a way to write it off, which is very, very, very close to a void. It's going to automatically create a credit note and apply it to the invoice. That credit note will not appear as income on any of your reports. So for all intents and purposes, it is voiding out the invoice. And all you have to do is open the invoice and hit the actions button on the top right, and there will be an option to write off the remaining balance. So that would be my suggestion.
Yeah.
Awesome questions though so far. Let's see one of the other ones here. This might be from a new trial user potentially, it sounds like. It says, can you migrate from other software? And if so, how much does that cost? Great question. Yeah, we can actually migrate you from basically whatever platform you're coming from. As long as you can get the data from your platform exported to an Excel document, our migration team will be able to work with that to get your data into our system for sure.
Beautiful.
Awesome. Looks like another trial question. Do you offer training with Practice Panther? Yes, we offer free training. It's very user-friendly, between 30 minutes or 60 minutes, depending on what you need. It's great for when you hire new people, great for learning new areas of the software. I've talked to a lot of firms where, they've been with us for a few years and they'll say, oh, I've only used about 20% of what you offer. And I always recommend those folks can get training too, even years into their account with us. So they can always be learning about the new things and new ways to save more time.
Great. Let me see here.
There's a question here and I want to address this. Any plan to roll out a batch document template application? We already have that actually. So you can go into your list of contacts, hit the check boxes on those contacts, and then hit apply template. And you can definitely apply a document template to many contacts or matters at the same time, either on the contacts list or on the matters list. You can do that same thing. Definitely recommend it.
Yes, a follow-up question to the question on training. What is the process to get more training?
I think there's a link. I could be wrong, but on the top right of your Panther, there's like a question mark with like an ask us anything button. I'll double check right now. I think there might be a schedule a training button there as well. But if not, you can always hit ask us anything and just start an intercom chat with our support team and they'll be able to get you scheduled on anything there. Yeah, it doesn't look like we have a schedule button directly in the software. So just reach out to our support team and they'll be happy to set you up with one of our success managers for a training.
Yeah. One thing I want to say, I do see a couple questions here that are pretty strictly feature requests. It's will you make this feature? Will you make that feature? And while we could talk a little bit about that here, I just want to advertise one more time. My job is to have conversations with individuals about the features that you have, document them, prioritize them to make sure that we're working on the most important things. So if you have a feature suggestion, there's a lot of them here in the chat. We're going to document all this. I'm going to go home after this and make sure that I'm writing them down. But if you have a specific feature that you would like to talk about or you want to get a hard answer about, I would be happy to talk with you about that. So please follow up with me with the email on your screen and we can have a real conversation about the things that you want to know about e-signature, about intake forms, about any of the features that might be the most important to you, right?
Absolutely. And just once again, to clarify, because we are going to be wrapping up in just a second, if you are a new user, maybe you've made a trial account or you haven't at all, please do email Matt@PracticePanther.com and he's going to set you up with one of our best and brightest account managers and give you a guided tour of the system.
Beautiful.
And I think that will wrap up our webinar for today, guys. Thank you all so much for joining. Really appreciate everyone's time and attention today and everyone's questions that participated. Again, if we did not answer your question, you will be getting an email from us in the near future, following up with you to give you more information.
So be in touch. We look forward to hearing from you guys. Thank you for being here. Hope you have a great rest of your day.